Have you ever entered a room where everyone is acting as though nothing is amiss, yet the air is heavy with secrets? That's exactly how it felt inside the courtroom, where reporters were scribbling like their lives depended on it and cameras were clicking. Combined with Jesse and Delilah sitting in the front row, stone-faced and dressed like they just walked off a runway, Diddy's 80-year-old twin daughters appeared calm and collected, but behind their designer sunglasses and well-chosen attire, a storm was building. They were no longer merely onlookers. They were now involved in the story, albeit not formally or voluntarily, but their presence in that courtroom spoke louder than any testimony from the outside, which no one had good answers for. This is because when your dad is on trial for federal racketeering, conspiracy, and trafficking, showing up every day to support him doesn't loyal. Rather, it's suspicious, especially when victims are describing in detail how women are being trafficked, manipulated, and used, and at the same time, the twins are being photographed leaving with matching bags, brand new blowouts, and hardly a response to what's being said inside Jaguar Wright. Diddy's harshest critic didn't hold back. She went straight to the point, accusing the twins of being not just tone-deaf, but complicit. Psychopaths is a strong word, but in the court of public opinion, it stuck like glue. People began to wonder if Jesse and Delilah were actually just innocent children helping their father, or if they had knowledge of more than they were disclosing and had profited from the same empire that was now collapsing due to accusations of abuse and exploitation. Some people said the girls were victims too, trapped in a toxic family system that was brainwashed by wealth and survival instincts. Others weren't so forgiving. They pointed to their social media parties, private jets, and luxurious vacations. And they asked if the money was clean or if it came from the same evil machine that the feds were now dismantling. Then came the unexpected twist. Their mother was Kim Porter Kim. She died unexpectedly in 2018 from pneumonia. But the rumors persisted because some family members always suspected something was wrong. Kim had allegedly been working on a memoir that could have revealed Diddy's secrets, but she never finished it, and after her death, her phone and laptop were completely erased. Kim's friends then spoke up, saying that she had felt watched and worried that she had been planning changes to her will that would have taken money and power away from Diddy to protect her children, but she passed away before any of that could happen, and Jesse and Delilah's lives changed drastically. The complicated part is that even if they weren't the cause of any of this, people made up their minds the moment they appeared in court, smiling, smirking, or remaining silent. You can't have it both ways, living your life and claiming ignorance when the spotlight is this bright, and that's just the beginning. Loyalty to him wasn't just about love. It might have been about survival, money, emotions, and possibly even physicality. Growing up in a household where silence is expected and truth is buried under NDAs makes it difficult to tell right from wrong anymore. In addition to being Diddy's daughters, Jessica and Delilah, one witness claimed that the twins barely blinked. One smirked and one blew a kiss. Whether it was nerves or simply a moment of immaturity, it made headlines and created a picture that no PR team could erase. They appeared every day immaculately styled, barely flinching at testimonies that made grown men shift in their seats. Victims describing unspeakable things, witnesses detailing twisted rituals. And the more people watched them, the more it seemed like something wasn't quite right. The defense obviously wanted the jury to view Diddy as a father, a family man, and someone who was adored by his children, but the optics backfired on many. Prosecutors were aware of all of this, and the twins' attendance wasn't just a footnote. It was a chess move, such as privilege, riches, and power protecting abuse, and Jesse and Delilah unwittingly became the faces of that belief. As usual, social media unearthed old vacation photos, receipts, and celebrity birthday parties. Suddenly, it wasn't just about what Diddy allegedly did. It was also about how much his children benefited from it, all topped off by $10,000 purses. The twins didn't utter a word, tweet, or story when people began to question whether his empire was founded on exploitation and whether they weren't also profiting from it. Then came the account of the courtroom collapse that occurred one day during a horrific testimony that left everyone in the room staring at the floor. The quiet just made it louder. Jesse, as well as people close to the family, began talking in whisper networks, which turned into podcast episodes. One source claimed that the twins were financially trapped and that if Diddy fell, they would lose everything: their homes, their security, their entire lifestyle. Delilah reportedly broke. down in tears after a witness described a situation so upsetting that it shook even the most seasoned reporters. While some saw the twins' reaction as finally displaying some humanity, others didn't buy it, calling it performative as if they were trying to win sympathy without accepting responsibility. Whether that is true or not, Jaguar Wright's forthright statement that they have no choice provoked a more in-depth discussion. Can you simultaneously be a victim and a beneficiary? Then there was Kim Porter. Absence loomed over everything. Some who knew her said she kept Diddy's world and her daughters safe, but once she was gone, the twins had nothing but chaos. Friends said Kim had been planning to bar Diddy from some areas of her estate because she had grown scared and isolated, even telling people she felt watched. Then she disappeared and her devices erased her plans and her daughter's belongings. It didn't take long for conspiracy theories to surface. Had she actually died of pneumonia, or had she gotten too close to something she wasn't supposed to expose? A text purportedly sent to a friend just days before her death read, "He got me." Simply, it's not just about loyalty anymore. It's about legacy, and for the twins, that legacy may be the biggest burden of all. Federal investigators aren't just chasing Diddy. They're trying to map out an entire ecosystem, every name, every dollar, every connection. And deep inside that tangled web are people who might not have committed crimes themselves, but could still be dragged under for simply knowing too much. 3 words, but they set the internet on fire, and now every move Jesse and Delilah make is viewed through that lens. Are they grieving daughters caught in a nightmare, or are they part of a larger machine that protects itself at all costs? To leave those silence only protects you for so long if investigators find even a trace of financial benefit directly to Diddy's alleged crimes. From tuition to travel, they could become key figures, not necessarily defendants, but potential witnesses, and if the prosecutors decide to press hard enough, even the people you think are untouchable can find themselves in the hot seat. Unnoticed, legal analysts began speculating about whether the twins would be called to testify or subpoenaed. A speculative legal blog featuring Delilah's name implied that she might have had access to financial records via a shared family account without evidence, just whispers. But in a case like this, these charged whispers are enough to make headlines. And because the public was already suspicious, the court of opinion moved more quickly than the actual courtroom ever could. Depending on who was tweeting, people online. Some defenders pushed back, claiming that the twins were still children who had grown up in a chaotic environment, watching their father run the business, and that they had no real say in any of it. However, every time new footage appeared showing them showing off their wealth, smiling with celebrities, or swerving past cameras while women testified inside the timing, the optics all contributed to the perception that they weren't just caught. In the then came the resurfaced allegations involving Diddy's mother, Janice Combs. Although most people saw her as a strong matriarch who kept the family legacy intact, older legal documents painted a different picture of someone who was allegedly involved in shady dealings back in the 1990s related to disputes over control of bad boy records. This added another layer to the story. Was this the downfall of a powerful man or the collapse of a family dynasty built on silence, control, and fear? Kim Porter's ex and Quincy's father also jumped into the discussion, expressing his doubts about Kim's death and even claiming she'd been planning changes to her estate that never materialized. The timing of the wiped devices, the missing manuscript, it all came together to form a puzzle that didn't quite fit together, unless you assume something darker had happened. If Kim was removed from the picture on purpose, what did that mean for the daughters she left behind? Jessica and Delilah may still be living in mansions and posing for cameras, wearing coordinated designer looks, but behind the filters and PR smiles, there's no telling what they're feeling. Some insiders claim they're breaking because the weight of it all is finally getting to them because they're afraid of being judged and isolated, and their once enviable lives now appear to be golden cages. The real question hanging over everyone's mind is what will happen if they talk, if the twins ever come forward with what they know, if they decide to trade. Keeping quiet to survive might completely change the course of events. They may or may not be victims, but they hold the key to revealing the true extent of this empire, and the entire world is currently watching to see what they will do next.